Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Browns Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski. Some people call me Grizzer. And this is where you can get caught up on some of the latest news involving our Cleveland Browns and get a 10-minute take or thereabouts along the way. Thank you to everyone who has liked the episodes and has subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate all of the support, and I love when we get those viewer comments in the viewer comments section. Some spirited discussions happen there each and every day. On today's show, something happened here like that I think is pretty significant, but nobody really seems to be talking about. It looks like the Browns have found their new draft guru. Also, there's a Browns rookie who I think is a safe bet to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. We'll tell you who I think it is. And as it turns out, you know what? The Browns already have their own version of prime time. And he was on the roster long before Shedeur was drafted. And then down in the viewer comments, one of our viewers says one of our draft picks is going to be a beast. I wonder who that could be. But first things first. So, this seems to be flying under the radar a little bit. The Browns, this is according to Browns Nation. They say that former Raiders senior personnel advisor, whose name is Sean Herrick, is going to join Cleveland's personnel department. Herrick was a scout, national scout for the Browns before he left to go to Vegas, but he's also worked for the Packers. He served as an interim general manager for the Raiders in 2018. So he's got some general manager experience, and he was also a two-time Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers as their assistant director of college scouting. So the guy seems to really know his stuff. And it appears he is coming back to the Browns. But like I said, other than Browns Nation, not too many people talking about this. Now, this is significant to me because, remember, Dan Saganay, he left. He was the former director of player personnel for the Browns. He went to Tennessee a few weeks ago. And you know how everybody in Cleveland feels about the draft picks that are made each and every year. And a lot of people like to put the blame on Andrew Berry. So this is significant, folks, if this deal is really happening. But I trust Browns Nation with their report. And so it looks like we have a new draft guru coming to town. Somebody else who's new and in town is one of our draft picks. And now that the schedule's out, like all the future bets are coming out, like the Browns win total over and under 5.5. Kind of like the over. I think I'm going to take that. Myles Garrett, Player of the Year. He's at plus 850, so a $100 bet will win you $850. If you think Myles Garrett, now that he's got some help on the front line, you think he'll get back and win the Defensive Player of the Year. But here's the one that I think has a really good chance of winning. I know Travis Hunter's out there. I know there's some other rookies, Genty. Who knows what he's going to do. But Quinshon Judkins for Offensive Rookie of the Year, plus 1,600. A $100 bet will win you 1,600 on Judkins. And I'll tell you, folks, if the offense goes the way I think it's going to go, I think they're going to run the ball a whole heck of a lot. And you know what? You might as well put some money on Dylan Sampson as well. I think the Browns are really going to use these backs. And right now, it seems Judkins will be more of a workhorse, but I honestly think they're going to have an even split. But yeah, I think that's a great bet to make. I mean, there's a lot of value there. $10 will win you 160. So those are my kind of numbers. More like $5 will win you 80. Those are really my kind of numbers. So, but good investment, worth the flyer. I think Judkins is a pretty solid future bet to make. Now, how about this? Did you know we have our own version of Primetime already on the roster? And this was he was on the roster way before Shedeur was ever drafted. You know what his name is? It's Kenny Pickett. Primetime Pickett. According to a source, the website called Pickenham, they did the research. Here are your best quarterbacks in prime time. Of course, we don't have any primetime games, so at this point, it doesn't matter. And if we do have any, it'll be in the back nine of the schedule, and I'm guessing Shedeur Sanders will be quarterbacking. It won't be Kenny Pickett, but you never know. But Kenny Pickett, 6-1, 86% in prime time. He gets it done. Primetime Pickett. Then you got Jared Goff, 15-3, Mahomes. This is a minimum of 5 games, and this is since 2020. So it's not a small sample size. It's a pretty good sample size. Mahomes, 20-5, and then Wentz, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Ryan Tannehill makes the list, Aaron Rodgers, and then last on that list is Kirk Cousins. And, it's just, again, another one of those, surprises, that I would have never even thought about that. Kenny Pickett in prime time is money. And again, folks, 15-10. He's got a winning record in the league. His biggest problem to me has been the injuries. So, and again, I think the Browns think that he's going to be this year's Sam Darnold. So, I don't know. Too bad we didn't have all primetime games, and who knows? He may be the starter. All right, now, speaking of prime time, what's always prime time are the viewer comments. They're always money. We know that. And so let's get going. 1983 Made says, too many podcasters are secretly hating on Shedeur because he has a fan base. But they all use his name just to get clicks. If you like Dylan, then say it and report it. We like who we like. Let's go 12. I 100% agree. And I mean, Shedeur Sanders right now is an extremely hot topic. And I know people like to jump on me about our thumbnail pictures, but I don't do the thumbnails. I provide the content. And I'm telling you, folks, I've been in it. I worked in the news business a long time, and I was taught you go with the stories that people are talking about. And this time of year, all anybody talks about is the Browns. Yes, I know we have the Guardians. And yes, I know the Cavs just had their good season that ended in a crash and burn. But that's what always happens in Cleveland. But this is a Browns town. Nobody ever stops talking about the Browns. And so now with Shedeur here, there are just so many things to talk about with this team. And so that is why I go with what the people are, what we're all talking about. Those are the stories that show up. K. Parker Millennium says, put Dylan in the title. I'm here for Shedeur, but I'm looking for Dylan-specific coverage too. Put him under the microscope too so we can compare with comparable information. And K. Parker Millennium, I agree. And I promise you, I am always looking for Dylan Gabriel information. And it pains me to say I just saw a great Dylan Gabriel story that will show up in a future episode here in the next day or two. But I saw it right before I was recording this podcast. And so it'll get there. I'm always looking. And like I've been saying all along, I feel like we're dealing with two political candidates. And if you run a story about one, you should run a story about the other. That's the way I feel about it. And so I'm constantly, if I had my druthers, I'd have a story on each of them each day. Because that's all anybody's talking about here in Cleveland. So great. You're absolutely right, K. Parker Millennium. Now, Charles Ping, 8646. This is what he wrote in capital letters, so he's yelling at me. Here we go. Wrong, Mayo propaganda boy. Do your research before you start your misinformation campaigns. Bo Nix is 6'1". Shedeur is an easy 6'2". And he gave me a clown face, so I guess I'm a clown. But here's the deal. The information that I used when I talked about, this was going back to the Coward story, he tried to compare Bo Nix to Dylan Gabriel. And I mean, I don't think it's a comparison because Bo Nix is 6'2", and Shedeur Sanders is 6'1.5", according to the NFL's official draft and combine profile on each of those players. I went to the NFL and I got my information. And folks, this goes back to me being in the news business. And I promise you, and I'm not saying that I will get it right every single time. Pronunciations are a problem for me. But here's the deal. I double check information like that. I will always make sure that I check on things that I'm not sure of. or even if I am sure of them, because I'm getting old and sometimes you forget stuff. I will always double check this stuff, and I went to the NFL's website on that one. So I hate to break it to you, Charles, paying $86.46, but not misinformation. And hey, Charles, I put the links to both of the players' profiles in the chat. So if you want to go check it out, check it out. Okay, Jeff O'Donnell, 70.98. The draft couldn't have gone better. We effectively got 3 number 1s and an extra number 2. I will take that every time. Now, these are the comments that I love. This is what I love. Accentuate the positive, and yes, he's not wrong. We got 3 number 1s. You got Mason Graham. You got the pick for next year, and then we got Shador in the 5th round. So you got 3 number 1s, and then we got the extra 2. So yes. 100% agree, Jeff O'Donnell. I love the way you're thinking. And we'll end it on this. Scott Zappa, 9314. He says, well, hold on a second. You forgot to mention Mason Graham. He says he's going to be a beast. And with Miles, Brownies will be better than you think. And I agree. I think Mason Graham could be a quiet storm there. I mean, he's just very unassuming. It's funny, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's like the guy, your friend, that you go to like the sports bar with, and then he ends up getting in like the wing eating contest and wins free t-shirts for everybody or something. Like, he is just, I think people think that he's because he's so mild-mannered, that he's not going to be a force to reckon with on that front line. But all indications are that he will be. And boy, oh boy, if they could get that going, and Miles, man, oh man, if he could eat up some double teams and Miles gets going on the outside, look out, especially with what we got now. If we're healthy on defense, losing JOK doesn't help. But I'll tell you, folks, that defense, if it comes together, it could be really good. Okay, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us today and for everything you do to support our little show. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, go Browns. We'll see you next time.